And then we move over to the more interactive part before the next coffee break, and that is the OEM panel, Soft Wing and Hybrid Systems, that will be moderated by Christian Patrick. And we will have a number of participants in here that we let introduce themselves, either without or with slides. Yes. No, I think we need all the speakers here. Actually, I should maybe just mention them so they know that they should come. So that's Christian, Giorgio Zella from Kite Energy, Eduard Eiselmouden from Kite Power, Nicole is here from Enerkite, Rod Reed from Windswept is also here, Mark Hoppe also here, and then we are complete. Then I can go.
How many minutes do we have?
We need to shorten a bit. It was planned for almost an hour, 55. We can do 45. It's better.
Including everything. Yes. We have 5
Yes,
so everybody 6 minutes.
Quick pitches. But I think I need to actually stay here because I have some slides.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so Roland, sorry? Yeah,
Technical
no problem.
person.
So for the ones who don't know me, I'm Christian Patrick from Airborne Europe. I will moderate this session. I'll just learn from Roland that we will have 45 minutes overall, so that includes also the discussion. Let's say we try to do in 30 minutes your short presentations, and since we are 5, 6 minutes each. So please stay on time. So we will have also questions and answers after all of them have presented. Okay, so then it's a little bit easier. So the first one is Eduard from Kite Power, please.
Hi everybody, my name is Eduard. I'm here at my first AWAC 2024, or first AWAC ever. I'm happy to represent Kite Power today. Yeah, first of all, we are building a new class of renewables, and yeah, I think it's good to realize that we do that, and later on I have a piece of homework for you. We see that there's a lack of portable renewable power, and that is why we are developing our first product, and we call it the HAWK system. It's basically a battery energy storage system that is being recharged by Kite Energy. We envision we are reaching out to customers at the moment for this HAWK product, and we want to sell them this year, and next year we want to deliver them already to customers, at least the 4 first units. After that we will directly continue with our Falcon product, which will be a grid connected solution. We have a demonstration site in Ireland since 2023, and I will tell you more about that tomorrow. You're all welcome to come there. And a part of my background, I have been in drones. I had my own drone company for 20 years, and I see a lot of parallels with developments of drones and Kite Power at the moment. For instance, I had to the first people ask questions: what is a drone? What can I do with it? The next stage would be, how can I use it? And then the last stage, what makes you better than other drone companies? And that took like maybe 10, 15 years until we reached that point. So what I want to ask you guys is all experienced airborne wind engineers and other people, please explain to the world what it is to have this new class of renewables. And then we're already one step ahead. So thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. That was shorter than 6 minutes, but it's good. So next one will be Mark Hoppe from Sky Sales.
Well, I have a video there as well.
You have a presentation?
Yeah, I sent it to Stefan.
But is it here?
If not, we change while you figure this out.
Yeah, otherwise someone else can go
Yeah.
first.
Okay, I don't have it. Who's the next one?
Who? Rod or Giorgio? Okay.
Okay.
Rod, next one.
Hi folks, I'm Rod from Windswept. We recently, I guess I'm known for being the guy who makes rather cheap prototypes from home, and the first photo you can see there is from 4 years ago, not very recent. Last time at AWEC I was presenting the system. Just after that we signed with Shell Game Changer saying we're actually going to get some funding and we're going to go ahead and automate this. And it was quite an ambitious project. They said, okay, we're going to be going up to 10 kilowatts on that. So it changed from that design into this system you can see on the right there. And that balance of ambition and capacity really well, I've changed from being the guy who makes cheap prototypes into the guy who breaks cheap business models now. We kind of raised a whole bunch of business models and predictions on how we would do this and go about it. Yeah, there was an awful lot of work online, basically, instead of in the garage online. So I'll flick through. Our requirements and objectives that were incredibly stringent, and so in the end I've had to cut. We had 8 engineers working with us at one point. That's back down to just me in a garage again, because I'm going to be getting more data on exactly what can be done with rotors. And rotors, I still believe, are incredible in that they are super simple, and the performance we've had out of them is, yeah, it speaks for itself. This is what we were trying to automate, and that bit went up and down, but it didn't really because we didn't have enough lift. And the rotor, we were going for a single rotor in the end. That became too heavy. Did make the launching bot that's outside the house. I've moved twice in the meantime since I was last here, so it's been a bit hectic. That was what we were going for, and I guess I'll skip through the rest. You can see it all tomorrow in the talk tomorrow, yeah? Yeah, it was going to be a bit saggy, was the outcome. And you guys can probably do a lot better than us. Okay, more slides.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're all so quick, so we have a longer discussion afterwards. Yeah. Okay, it's good. Yeah, Mark, is it there, Mark, already?
No.
Not yet. Okay, so then, do you want to go first? Or
I'll do another one.
is it Jeff?
No, I hope they have.
Mine is on the stick as well.
On the stick.
I just uploaded to stick.
Um,
An archive is the name.
There's a video, isn't there? I know if they manage to play.
Okay, just a second to figure that out. Any questions to the ones that we have heard already? Comments? Okay, so then we will wait for the next one.
okay.
Okay, yeah, so the next one will be Anarchite, Nicole.
Yeah, I can start.
Yeah.
Without. Achso, no, der sorry. There you go. Thank you. Yes. So, yeah, there it is. Hello. Yes, I just brought a short video, which you might have seen as well. I will tell besides what we have achieved. So on the technical side, still very nice that we have now the proof of concept, which is going back to 21, but we have proven it with several different wings and different conditions. Proof of concept meaning that we are doing the starting, power production and landing, which you can now see here again in one cycle, and it's fully automated. Yeah, that is quite an old information, but new is that we have patented our own wing, which you can see on the right side. It's a small-scale version of the serial product. You might have seen it this morning. I already presented it. And yeah, it's doing quite well. It's very lightweight and also performing very good, better than we expected. And yeah, that's like technically a great achievement. Yeah, what else did we achieve? We accomplished 2 funding projects in the past years successfully. We also started another one in 24, which is together with Volkswagen, and we are also applying, or we applied successfully for another one, which is currently in the final preparation, who should be starting in June. Very luckily, we have some new corporations, which can definitely go onto advantages. One of it is the serial production from the kite you're seeing here will be done together with Airbus. We have several partners for the pilot projects, such as an Aeon daughter and also, as mentioned, Volkswagen. So basically, we have projects in all of our markets, or entry markets. Exactly. And also very nice, we have our first pilot customer. He is in Germany, or the company is in Germany, in Hessen. And he's what is kind of nice, willing to go with us the path of the final product development. And also that is maybe something that we are still facing difficulties, as I guess most or many of the companies. Of course, the capital, which is going hand in hand with a personal shortage, and as you might have realized together with from the discussion with Roman, from the presentation from Roman, it takes a lot of time to do the approvals, and that is something which challenged us or challenges Enerkite with the amount of people we are currently having. So yes, maybe one other advantage is for us, especially, the interest of the media and the politicians. They are definitely rising. We really face more interest, more acknowledging and taking advantage of what we have done. I think that's applicable for the whole RAA community, which is quite nice. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. And then we have Giorgio from Kite Energy.
Hello all, can I hear? Yeah, okay. Hello all, I represent Kite Energy. We are a soft kite company, and we've been around for some 10 years plus. I wanted to put my focus on the sustainability aspect of our projects, because we've been doing more extensive testing on the circularity of the design of the machine, specifically regarding the wing and the electric engines. And so what came out of it is how do you compare this, especially towards diesel? We heard about renewable energy versus diesel in Africa, and how is going to the situation to be developing in the following years. And what came out of it was the carbon credit situation in Europe, especially giving high prices of the carbon credits, really makes sense from a financial point of view. And our estimation is that it will make more and more sense, to the point of which you could, depending on the sales of the carbon credit solution, you could finance, if not all of it, as in the cost of the machine, at least 70% of it. So I think it's a valid point to raise awareness on, and we think that this should be put in when the pilot, let's say, demonstrators are in place. Now, as a company, we aim to have some pilots from next year, but I think, once again, this should be well focused for all of us, because we did some research, and if we use 10% of a traditional turbine per power output, we as wind systems or high altitude wind systems, we are at 1 gram per CO2 of emission when turbines are 10 and diesel are at 695. But then, as we learned this morning or earlier, there is the transport cost, especially of diesel, so that's even more. And I think that our position as AWE's partners or players should really maximize this strong advantage. I believe also especially that this is going to be more and more the case, as in we will see gradually a distinction in between the renewable systems. What now we all say this is renewable, that's fine, but let's look in more detail. So I think we sit in a positive position. Of course, we all as an industry need to deliver, but I think that this will be a strong advantage from a legislative, economic, and it's a nice thing to have, but it will play a bigger role. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Georgie. And last but not least, we have the presentation now from Sky Sales, Mark Hoppe.
Yeah, so hi everyone. So my name is Mark, as you can see, and I think I probably work for the best company in the world, or as far I've worked for. So I think all of us know, and what we're all working for is to keep our Earth habitated and protect us for the climate disaster. So we at SkySys have been working on 20 years to actually make use of high altitude wind and to use this enormous potential for energy production and in the end replace fossil fuels. Yet to achieve this, I think we have seen a lot of my colleagues here already talking. So in the backbone of all that we do is our team, and at SkySys we are a purpose-driven company, real authentic company. And our teamwork is marked by agile workflows and digital workflows. And actually last year we did a major change management in our company. Nowadays working more than 100 people with us. So nowadays we work with agile management methods. So not really work together as teams, but more as project teams dedicated to different product segments. And what our team actually can do is, this is actually a video which should be shown on YouTube now, but I think Roland is a little bit slower than I am.
No, I mean, PDF copying is enough.
Oh, good. We can do that afterwards, maybe. So actually, because I wanted to show you how we actually achieved the measurement of our power curve. Because this is what we just achieved, and there's no link in it. I sent it to you, the link in my email, Stephanie, but nevertheless, no bother. We just skipped this one. Sorry for that. So what we actually achieved, I think Torben actually presented it earlier, is the power curve. And this is something we have been working towards for many years, something we all have been waiting for. And this power curve is the proof of our product and the proof of that what we actually do and has told everyone in the world actually works. So we can produce power and we can make use of the power. And looking forward, so we have talked about our installation in Kliksbühl, and I think someone also mentioned our installation in Mauritius, which is our first customer installation. And this one is really special because we made Caterpillar service technicians operate our system, which means it's not that hard to operate our airborne wind energy system. So this is one big milestone we achieved last year. And this is also one big thing for us because it's the first installation in one of our entry markets, the diesel hybridization market. And as REE told us before, it's not a small niche market, it's a really, really big one. We have done 2 years of extensive market analysis on this one, and I can tell you this is a really big business case. And actually growing, as also REE told us. And in the next phase, together with our partners, we will actually develop or scale our system in the megawatt class. And from there on go into the next growth phase, where we then will install big wind farms in gigawatt scale onshore, also in developed countries. So this is what we want to achieve in the next years. And I think looking at the key challenges, I think we have to create favorable conditions to actually go into the market. And this is something we work on now. So hopefully tomorrow we'll have big news. First one ticking the boxes maybe. We're working on regulatory frameworks, so getting into the regulatory with our technology and what it needs to really do projects to actually cut down the project lead times is one major thing. Then also to get recognition by the politicians for F&E funding, to get funding in the projects. And then of course industrialization, so we need to build up the supply chains to industrialize the technology. And then of course get the funding, get the supply chains, get the regulatory all together to ramp up the market. Yeah, thank you very much for listening to me, and I'm looking forward to talk to you.
Great, thank you very much. So you were all much shorter than 6 minutes, so we have more time. We have about 25 minutes now for the discussion and also for Q&A. I said before that we would like to talk about the challenges and the step forward. Some of the challenges you have already mentioned. So the first round I would like to do in the sense that you say what would you see as biggest challenge for your company, and then the second round is for the entire sector. And some of you, well, Mark, you had already these 3 points we just saw, and you also mentioned funding and permitting, but maybe there are other things that you still want to mention. So let's do the first round. I'll give you the other mic. So maybe apart from permitting, whatever comes to your mind, or if you want to dive deeper into the challenges of funding or whatever.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I think there's nothing really more to add, because I think many think that the problems might be technical. I mean, there are some harder times to develop the technical solution. But in general, really what we as Enerkite, and I think maybe the whole RWE society is facing, is the permitting and the diving deeper into permitting. From my side, I think it's very crucial that we have to face the permitting process almost as similar as a big conventional wind turbine is facing. That is not doable, and for me it makes no sense, especially as we are talking about 100 kilowatt systems. We should not be doing the whole big process, birds, beds, whatever. That I think is really crucial, and we need to find a solution there. For me, one solution could be that we really combine even more our knowledge together, work together more as companies here. Yes, and the other part I already mentioned is the capital. We, from Enerkite, we have many smaller investors who are really passionate and supporting us, and we are really proud of having them and happy to have them. Still, we feel that there is, not everyone willing to take the risk, and it would be helpful to know how to lower the risk and how to motivate bigger investors, especially regarding the development. So we have, as you have seen or have heard, we have really potential clients, pilot customers, but who is really paying the product development? That is for us a crucial question, and something we need to solve in the next years, because of course we need a product, not always prototypes.
Thank you. You also mentioned already a solution, a potential one, working together on the permitting. So if you have to your challenges already a solution as well, please let us know. So, yeah.
Okay. For us, I think the problem is not so much the funding. The funding obviously is there, as always, but it's as in for us at least, is the technical operation in continuous 24/7 is difficult from a permitting point of view and from a technical point of view. So how does it work? Do you need lights? What's the regulation behind it? And you need always somebody there, and you know, that's kind of complex. How can you explain it? Is it military? Does it go against? Is it kind of thing, and so on and so forth. It's very different if you use it for 1 hour or let's say 6 hours. Especially in the night, we're finding difficulties to face. It's doable because we theoretically have 24/7, but it's difficult to explain. And then once you get there, you always have stepping backs. So we've had issues with the airports, for instance, in which we test, and it should have been there. It's there, and then the last guy wakes up and is like, I don't fully understand it, so my answer is going to be no. And, well, thank you, because it's been 6 months explaining this. So maybe, well, I can't say you're not in the right place for doing your job, but no, because it behaves like a helicopter. And so what if a helicopter needs to land? Well, it's not a helicopter, and we can take it back in 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever it is. No, well, you know, we're not sure. Thank you very much. So from our point of view, the go-to-market would not be in Europe for this simple reason. It's good to test, it's good to engineer, it's good to produce, but I think that the emerging markets are easier and more talkable from this point of view.
Thank you. Yeah.
So for Windswept, the top challenge, I'll give you two actually, one technical, one company. Company-wise, I live in a very remote place, and collaborating with engineers across the world online on various platforms was an absolute mare for us. But Mark, you've given me hope that this is solvable. Technical-wise, our biggest challenge is just that static lift tension did not scale. But of course, there's so many people here who are incredibly skilled at that. So I also have hope they are. So that's our challenges.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, challenges. I think there's a lot of challenge in the market still. I would say, like, when we look at SkySets, I think it's always really challenging to find good people, like to get the right people in the company. We're still always seeking, so look on our website if you seek for a new challenging position, maybe there's something on it. But otherwise, I think also what is really challenging to change the narrative, which most people have in their mind when they look at Airborne Wind, that they think that's a niche product for a niche market. And this also, I think, this is a chicken and egg problem, kind of, because most of the people think that's for a niche market, which is not. And then at the same time, they compare us to technologies which have been on the market for ages. You can't compare an airborne wind energy system, which is totally innovative, which has not gone through the cost curve, with a wind turbine, which has been on the market for more than 20 years. And this, to get this narrative into the mind of, for example, politicians, also the European Commission, everyone who's actually there for giving funding for R&D projects, is really challenging, in my opinion. And if we could change this narrative and also be more open for innovation, which you can see in the US, in Asian countries, maybe have this mind to maybe do also trial and error, you know, just let us do and develop, and then we can talk about regulate the market afterwards. You know, so I think this is sometimes really challenging, and I would be happy if we could change this a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Eduard?
Okay, thank you for your words. What I see as the biggest challenge is the fact that we have to compete indeed against the windmills and the solar panels. What I see is indeed capital investors are a bit afraid of investing in this emerging market, emerging technology, I mean. So what you see is the longer term investments are needed, and the investors, particularly here in Europe, I think, are more for the short term investments, mostly focused on software developments, but we are in deep tech developments, and I must say, on the technical side, the challenges are there, but we are all progressing rapidly, as I also see today. What the solution is at Kite Power is that we started not looking forward, where do we want to be in 2-3 years, but looking backward, what can we already do today? And with that, we defined our product, our go-to-market product, the Hawk. And actually, we are also surprised that with this product, we reach out to customers now, and we see quite some traction there already. And I agree with you that I wouldn't think it's really a niche market, because already with our go-to market product, we see that there's lots of potential. And every day I start thinking about it, I see more potential customers and more places where you could use it. So yeah, that's one. The other is
just maybe maybe not everybody caught it. It's the 30 kilowatt with a battery system, the Hawk, right?
Yeah, true. So we are our go-to-market product is the battery energy storage system. So it's basically a battery with a flying plug. It's meant for non-grid solutions and non-grid applications. We have 3 markets identified: the remote communities, agriculture, and also the construction sites. Especially in the construction sites, we also see a regulatory incentive, because they have to be net zero emissions at some stage. Yeah, so that's on the product. I wanted to also stress about regulatory framework on the airspace regulations. I'm happy to announce that we got our first BVLOS application approved, so we can start flying our system remotely monitored. So that means we only need our crew on site for launch and landing.
BVLOS is beyond visual line of sight, so you don't need a pilot standing close to the kite anymore.
Yeah. But what I see is that we focus our market in Europe first. We presume that there's now overall Europe a framework that is the same in all countries, but I think it's actually still quite different. So we need to test every country on their response. If we say we want to fly in your country, what are the limitations? What are the possibilities there? Luckily, we found that Ireland is very willing to cooperate, so we're happy to have our test site there. So far, my contribution.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so instead of going another round of challenges, you mentioned a lot of challenges now, just if you have something to add, so let's, you can start.
Yeah, just going back to the permitting part, I would like to share another advantages or a positive experience we lately had. I forgot to mention before, which was quite interesting. So we did a bigger stakeholder workshop, and at the beginning I was quite concerned that might go wrong. For example, if there's one person in this stakeholder round who is negative, might affect all the others. But to be honest, I was very surprised. We did it now in several countries in Germany, mostly for social acceptance, but also for the approval parts. And I wanted to share that we had really good experiences with that. For explanation, for me, the most impressing turnover of personality or opinion was one guy who first joined, had the opinion airborne wind is an bird killing machine, and after two workshops, he was the opinion that we definitely need to test in the close by any birds. So he completely changed. In this workshop, there were many airborne wind companies. I think 3 it was. Yeah, and everyone shared their experience. We had some good knowledge there, and also the stakeholders somehow matched up, and yeah, we had a good feedback. So that's one solution I wanted to add, and yeah, from my side, take away the risk or the risk of putting people together. I was positively surprised.
Thank you. Any other challenges, solutions to be added?
Well, I could add that talking about airspace integration, I think this is a really big challenge. And like we in SkySites are right now working on an integration concept, which will probably work with the Federal Ministry of Aviation or Transport and the utilization it is in Germany. And it's always really challenging, because the biggest challenge what we have or what we face in Germany is actually that the private pilots, they have a really big lobby. And most of them are actually sitting in the Ministry of Transport. So
Most of the pilots are in the
yeah, well,
pilots.
so most of them working in the aviation sector, and who you get the permit for to integrate your system into the airspace are actually private pilots. So of course, in Germany you have what we want to achieve is in the end that we want to be an obstacle, and we are the only obstacle that could move. And then what we could achieve with a transponder is that, of course, we can detect other objects getting in near to us, and then we could, of course, move out of the way. As Romain like explained before with the military, for example, if they say, okay, we need to go through your operational area, then we can just move out of the way. And then this is something we try to implement now together with the Federal Ministry. And yeah, hopefully next ABEC we can probably talk and say that we have an integration concept that works and that we can use in other countries, because what we have learned from our project in Mauritius is that they actually just looked at what we did in Germany and then just copied it. We just needed to translate it in French. That's the only thing we need to do.
Okay, thank you. So before opening the floor, I would just quickly like to make the round. We basically started with that already, Eduard, by saying this is your product, 30 kilowatt, these are the markets. Also hearing from the others what we can actually expect really short term, because we always talk also about the long, big picture, no? Hundreds of gigawatts in the future, we have such a big potential, but what can we expect really soon? We heard it from you already, starting here again with you, what can we expect in the next 1, 2, maximum 3 years?
Yeah, what we are at least planning to do currently. Optimistic, okay. Well, we are having our, as said, we are having our first customer, so that would be then one project. We are having hopefully a follow-up project with Volkswagen and one with the E.ON daughter, and another customer upcoming. So I'm thinking in the next 2 or 3 years we will have at least 4 projects in Germany. We are also looking into other countries. So maybe let's make it 8 or something. I don't really have the numbers, but would be optimistic. And also additionally, our solution would also be to do it in Germany and then copy it for the other countries. But I think what we don't know now is if it's working or if it's really challenging to start new in another country. So that is really the optimistic view.
Because otherwise I don't have control. Yes, George, thanks.
For us, it's really the implementation of pilot projects around the world. I don't see it much in Europe. There's a potential in Europe, but I'm looking mostly at, let's say, the Southern Hemisphere. And the next 1 to 2 years, the idea is to put as many as possible, depending on the size.
What is possible? Just, I Is it?
Well, the sky's the limit, right? So
Yeah, but
and
in
we
2
work with the
years
sky,
we
so,
know already. So just a ballpark figure or a range.
the next 2 years should be 5 projects,
Okay, thanks.
and then more or less can be more, can be less.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair
that's
enough.
typical of the industry. though,
Yeah,
so.
we know. Right.
So from Windswept, you can probably expect some more data on rotor tests and expect an email begging you to incorporate these into your systems or into your data logs or into your studies. Just a lot more back to basics and fundamentals on how we can operate these things more efficiently because, they've proved remarkable. I want to find out a bit more about that.
Okay, thanks.
How many years?
2, maximum 3.
Okay, 2, maximum 3. Okay, so right now we have about, I think, 20 systems and 7 projects under development in the next years upcoming. Then another technical thing, what we will work on, enhance the performance of our system due to working on our flying system. So get it up from 120 to 150, 160 kilowatt hours. A kilowatt cycle power, sorry. And then, the Airspace integration concept and have a regulatory framework which works for the permitting side. And then happy to have the Aquilon project running in that time frame, hopefully. If no other delay is coming, but I'm positive about that. So and then of course. Grow the company because we have so many nice and good looking projects in our pipeline, but we can't actually execute on them because we don't have the resources yet, which is a little sad. But of course we're a German engineering company, so maybe it's also going to get a little slow. So I think there's a lot to expect, and I'm really positive looking into the future.
Okay, thanks. Eduard, anything to add from what you
Yes,
said before?
we currently have 2 test sites, one in the Netherlands, one in Ireland, and we have multiple kite sets flying. What I see is that the time that I have been at Kite Power, we are still flying the same kites, which is good news, because we do a lot of high-risk tests, and we can still fly our same hardware, which is very nice. For the outlook would be indeed to sell a modest 4 systems this year, and then place them in the market next year, or at the customer. Further on, we want next year to also continue the selling of our Hawk product with 10 to 20 systems. Projects as well. So that is our ambition, growth perspective, and I think with these numbers we can look for the best fitting customers, because that's the world is big enough to find these number of customers that really fit well to our first product. And then the third year would be the challenge to have our follow-up product, the Falcon product, ready, which would also mean that we need to generalize more on different customers that are maybe in more difficult to reach places with respect to regulations or wind, maybe things like that, and we take up the competition not only to diesel generators but also what I said before, the windmills and the solar panels. Although I must admit that it's not all competition, but as we've seen before, that all the renewables add up to a certain point because they all have their own benefits. So yeah, that's
okay.
My addition.
Thank you. So we have, oh no, we don't have, but we can take a little bit longer now, Roland. No, because now the 45 minutes are over. Yeah, we would still like to open the floor for a few questions. So any clarifications or questions to our panelists? Yes, there are some. So, So there's Gonzalo and Garrett.
Yeah, Mark, this one's for you. You know, congratulations on getting a first power curve. But when I saw it come out, I was actually surprised that you're not hitting rated power until 15 meters per second. I thought it would be a little bit steeper, based upon kind of the history of this industry. You know, saying that we can get up to 50-60% capacity factors. And can you tell us a little bit about what's the choice behind a slow slope on that?
I think I would actually open that question to Torben because he is more into it and he's just sitting inside of you. So maybe he can answer because I'm more the commercial guy. So.
So the question was why it slopes that. Yeah, so the rated wind is I mean the question is where starts hitting the rated wind is just a question of how your generator is designed and which energy you could put through could take out of it and where you have to stop it and go higher with the flying. And we just started to optimize this, but as I said, this is a target we have looked on for this stage of development stage, and there will be an increase also in the beginning within the next months and years.
I think something to add is that near to the ground we need not that much wind to actually start the system, but up in the air there's much more wind resources, as we all know, otherwise we would not develop this technology. So, and I think up in the air there's always enough wind to actually achieve this cycle power, more or less.
So then we had Gonzalo.
Yeah, okay. First, congratulations to all of you because running a deep tech company is something very challenging. So congratulations and thank you for your work. My question is, I'm curious about your experience with the European Innovation Council. Did you collaborate with them? Did you receive funding from them, a Pathfinder Transition or Accelerator project? Or do you take advantage of I don't know, the visibility that the European Innovation Council can give to you, to investors, or you receive any support from them?
Anybody can say something about that? Yeah, well, I would have an answer, but or something at least, but if anybody has. So from what I have learned from these programs is that it's really difficult for airborne wind because the first one, the Pathfinder, no, I think the first one for the lowest TRL is I think the Pathfinder. So this is where you could apply, but not all companies have applied. But it's only if you had applied, then you are eligible for the next phase, which is then this accelerator. So we can't access the accelerator because we haven't been part in the Pathfinder. So these companies are already too far in their TRL. But this Pathfinder project would, the accelerator project or program would actually be the right one to accelerate them. But we can't. So we also told them this is not really helpful for us, but that's how it is. And then the next one is what was the third one called? Innovation, well, the third program, which comes afterwards, I forgot now the name. And this is where the Akelon project is in, and where the, and the Kite Mill project are in. That's the innovation, yeah. I know, all right, it's under Innovation Fund, it's not under the AC. So yeah, so the third program that is there could be accessible for airborne wind companies, but only for individual companies. And the competition is very high. So there you compete against all kinds of technologies. And the issue is that they haven't defined a bucket for airborne wind. Even for wind, I think there's a bucket for wind, but it's also not big enough. So here the issue is that you have very high costs to actually submit a project. And the success rate is, I think, I don't know, a few percentage points to get actually these projects. So for these kind of companies, maybe, well, not even Sky Sales would put actually a lot of money into that unless you have, I don't know, someone like Engie behind there.
So, Christian, you confirm that no airborne wind energy company received funding from the EIC till now?
I think I'm not aware of any. Yeah.
Okay, so this is something we have to work on.
Under the EIC? Okay, sorry, then I'm mistaken there. But in case it's
what
challenging.
you're talking about is the accelerator and blended finance. But I think several Airborne wind companies have received EIC support and are within their maybe Nicholas can say something about it.
Yeah, maybe. Is Horizon an AEC project?
No, it's a different one. Horizon is another one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
You can also go ahead. From the EIC, we have tried to get in the Horizon program, which is funded by the EIC. No, isn't it? Isn't it the Horizon program? It's the EIB, huh?
It's another program.
Yeah, okay, it's another program. Yeah, but the programs we had with the thing, like every time we had the opportunity to go with a European project where we didn't have a big partner like Engie or RWE or another one, was really hard to get into that program. And also when we had the chance to go into the Horizon program, we made it until the last round. So the Horizon program is actually meant to finance the market entry of deep tech climate funds, deep tech companies. And getting into that program was really time consuming, so it took a lot of resources to actually get the all the paperwork done. So it costs money, costs resources. And after getting into the last round, the guys who're sitting in front in the jury are VC guys, so they're thinking in VC patterns. And then you have a too high risk profile, and then you go out. So that's really challenging, and I've actually talked to a lot of guys from the European Commission about that, and they want to change this because they know that this is a big issue for smaller companies, actually. And also when you look at investors, I think also for deep tech companies, it's really challenging to find the right investors because having the ones financing seed and maybe Series A rounds is not that hard, but what comes after that? So when you look at these investors, they're just a few ones, and also a few ones who actually have the money to actually to give you the money to achieve your goals, because of course you can invest 15 millions in the first round, but what happens after that? Then you need to have another 20, 30, 50 million to shoot in the companies to go the next step. And looking at these ones, I think there's just a few. They're probably the most recognized one is Breakthrough and their programs, but otherwise they're just a few ones, and it's really hard. And now I think we're making major steps towards a risk profile which is handleable for these kind of investors. But there was, we had to do some homework.
You want to add something, Eric?
Yes, at Kitepower we also applied for a EIC fund. We were very happy to have reached the third round, but the competition was really high. And also what you say, we had to put in a lot of man hours. We were also recommended to put in several weeks of preparation for this last jury round. And with the limited number of people that we had, that was not so feasible. We did a good job in the end, but unfortunately we're not selected through the final round. So we will of course try again.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is a common pattern that we are not really recognized, neither in the Horizon program as an own topic. There were only 2 times Airborne Wind was mentioned specifically in calls, and we were fortunate to be part in that. The one is the Just Wind for All, and the other one is the Meridional project. But already in the next work program, we were not mentioned specifically anymore. So that's a big difference to ocean energy that gets specific topics. And then the other issue is, and we see this here, this confusion. There are tons of different funding programs. It's really unclear which one is the best for us. Some have tried, some works, others not really. And so it's it's complex. And this is a really unfortunate thing. And they talk and talk that they want to improve innovation in Europe, and they make it really, really complicated for for a technology that needs funding for the entire sector. So not only specific companies, but for the sector to bring forward. But then also specifically for companies to not compete against, I don't know what kind of other technologies, medical stuff and so on. So it's not really energy that we have to compete against, so it's difficult. Okay.
There is one further complexity of coming from a country that's stupid enough to vote itself out of options for getting this funding. So I'll go in there.
No, but
Yeah, okay, sorry. I just wanted to add to Mark before, maybe just to get a better understanding what we also experienced. So there is, for deep tech, the problem is there is funding for the beginning. When you are a small company, when you're defined a startup just starting, there's funding, and then there's funding for when you are close to the product. But as Airborne Wind in general is facing such a long development phase, we are now, when we are applying for fundings, well, we got some, we also got Horizon and stuff, but still mostly the answer is either you are not too close, you are too close to market, or not too close to market. So we are just in this middle thing, and everyone is pushing us around, but no one is really funding it, and that's a huge disadvantage, I think, of funding situation in general.
Okay, thank you. So, Roland, I thought I have to close.
yes, but maybe because we speak about funding, I mean, there is one positive news. I think it was mentioned in the IEA Wind Task meetings, and it will again be mentioned, that DTU is in the lead of to become a new European doctoral training network with 12 PhDs distributed all over Europe. TU Delft is a partner, Politecnico Milano, and several companies and other universities, University of Applied Sciences Munich, and I think that will bring us a lot further on the research side, I'm sure.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I see now Joachim with one more question. Is it okay, Roland?
Yeah, we have a second panel.
We have the second panel with more points to discuss after the break. Is it okay, Joachim?
Yes.
Okay, so we do the coffee break now. No, yeah, there's a coffee break.
Yes.
There is a coffee.
Sorry, there was what?
And here is the video for Marx, especially to give him some peace of mind.
Okay, so you can also still watch the video without sound, but it's also available on YouTube. So, have a good coffee break. We reconvene at what time? Thank you very much to the panelists. Sorry about that. And we reconvene in...
Original time 16:20, but that is past. I would say we convene at 17 hours.
Maybe half an hour?
17 hours.
Yeah,
20 minutes better, no? So 10 minutes to 5. In 20 minutes we reconvene for the second panel, please. Thank you.
It's because I was getting